Posting. There we go. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VV OMI update video known as OMI is my homie, episode 20, with my good friends Crypto Rain and Doctor of Stuff. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi.
What's up, Dashi?
What's going on, Dashi?
How y'all doing today?
Amazing.
Pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Great.
I can't complain.
Same. There's a lot of news happening all the time. We'll try to go over everything. I think last time we only got through half the stuff because there was just such good conversation going on. And those are the shows that I really like. That's a good excuse to not finish when a bunch of stuff is going on. But we'll try to get through it today. Where we starting at?
You tell us.
Why don't we start with something we didn't go into too much last time, which was David Yu teasing Pokemon yet again.
Okay, so he did that last week, and then he did it today. Last week, it was just when Pokemon had released their, I think it was on the 19th, they had released their trailer for Pokemon trading card game Pocket, meaning like, oh, it's something that you can just do in your pocket digitally because it's on your phone. And seems like they're going to go through all of the cards, whether it's from first generation all the way up to the recent decks. We saw artwork from everywhere. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to do it. We say, okay, if you have built this deck, you can be in Generation 1 or Gen 2, all the way up to the generation they are now currently. But they had some AR stuff, and David he didn't post anything about it. He didn't say anything. All he did was he shared it on his Instagram. Unlike today, which was a little different, where he had shared that same post from 19 August on his X page, and he just says, "Welcome to the digital realm," with a yellow heart. Yellow probably just for Pikachu because Pikachu yellow colors, or that it could have just been random. I don't know. But when it says "Welcome to the digital realm," I think if you break down these words, well, why wouldn't he say that, for Pokemon Go? Like, they've already been digital. I think he's saying welcome to the digital realm because he might have this idea that this is going to be on the blockchain. Nintendo's been flirting with that idea for a while. Now, again, this is just my theory. This is not anything that any Pokemon or Nintendo or Game Freak has confirmed. It's just something that it seems like it would be on the blockchain for digital trading. They go out, they're going to give you guys 2 free packs every single day. And if you want to go and get more packs, you can go and buy them. I think that's just him saying like, hey, we're here. The space is more than big enough for both of us, and just welcoming them with open paws. What do you guys think about it?
Seems like it, right? It seems like probably it'd be on the blockchain. It seems like it probably, at least that, isn't on VV. And that probably David Yu is being supportive of them going on the blockchain in their game. Which isn't what I hope for, but hey, things end up being what they're going to be.
I don't see how you guys are making the leap that this is going to the blockchain. You walk me through that. I mean, David's tweeted other stuff too, right? And I guess I've stopped my knee-jerk reactions on what David posts.
Sure.
Because I've gotten in hot water before, like me myself being like, oh, this is what he means by that, right? And so yeah, I mean, it is weird. I would say this: it is weird that he's saying "Welcome to the digital realm." Like Pokemon isn't digital. Like I think that they have other games, but I don't think that they have any digital trading games or anything like that. But I still can't get to the blockchain part of it. Like, and that's just me, but I guess at this point in time, I'm not willing to make that leap. That this is blockchain. I don't see anything in their announcements or anything like that that there's ownership involved, that you could trade on the markets, so I know that's just my thought.
So on their Instagram page where they first had posted it, there were several comments, and several of them were top comments. Now, they seem to be pretty anti-NFT, but a lot of the top comments were just like, sounds like NFTs, and just things of that nature. And usually when a bunch of people are kind of like they figure it out even when they're not in that realm. And again, they had another thing similar to this online. I forget what it was called that you could do like this, but it wasn't made for mobile or it wasn't in your pocket. You had to use like a web browser. So to shut that down to do this, I get it. It's easier to get more people to use your program or to use your app or whatever it is if you make it for mobile, because not everybody has a computer, but everyone has a mobile phone. But at the same time, I mean, Pokemon, Nintendo, Game Freak, they've all seen what the blockchain can do with recurring revenue. They've all seen and this seems like it would be very safe to do because it's not saying that it's a brand new immersive thing. They're just remaking something old and they would be adding the blockchain to it. Again, that's just kind of my interpretation of it. And again, David's words, he's working 100 hours a week. He might have just been tired and just that was the first thing that came to his mind. And that's what he said. Or it's just like, oh, hey, this seems like blockchain too. Or maybe he knew something. He's been negotiating with them for years, trying to get them on the app. Maybe it's just him going out and saying, hey, I know that my followers will at least say stuff about this and that'll just show up. I'll just be on Pokemon's radar more. It could be any of those things. It could have nothing to do with blockchain, but that's just my kind of interpretation of it.
Yeah, my guess is the timing with them coming out, if it's not on the blockchain, what a huge miss for them.
Yeah.
So my guess is it's going to be on the blockchain, but we don't know that. It's just a guess.
Yeah, they pinned it. I'll read some of the top comments now. There's a bunch of them. Stephen Fonder says, the fact that no one realizes these are pretty much NFTs. That's literally the top comment. Then over that, it'll be a little bit minute before. Or it's just Pokemon, the trading card game live, but different. That's the game that they kind of shelved for this. And then just people saying like, oh, no new video game, sad moment when Legend of Zelda, when this. But that was kind of their sentiment. I saw a few other ones when I watched this last week, but they seem to have disappeared. I'm not sure where they went. But yeah, that was it for that. Hopefully they can get. We'll get updates for this as the months go on. They're not just going to not give us an update until it launches in October. They'll give us updates on it, whether it's on the Pokemon YouTube channel. They already went through World, so done marketing for that. Or it could be even like an ad on like Netflix or on the show or wherever. Oh, what's up, everyone? What's up, Turtle Golf? Moving on past that, unless you guys have anything else to go over that.
Nope.
Okay,
no,
cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So one of the things that I've been getting a bunch of messages about, including just right now, potential repercussions of the OpenSea lawsuit, the SEC against OpenSea, claiming that NFTs are securities. What does that mean for Vivi? What does that mean for OpenSea? Could OpenSea potentially go down here? Could they afford to do it? I mean, they said they set up a bunch of different, not scholarships, but a bunch of different funds for their artists that want to fight the SEC against this. So it seems like they're pretty flush with cash. Tell us about it a little more.
Look, I mean, just the SEC doing this doesn't mean anything to me, right? Like they've lost a lot of cases already. It's not good, and it sucks that it's gonna suck liquidity out of these companies that are building or just active, in this space. Like that sucks. It's annoying. And ultimately, though, just to say that like all NFTs are securities is bananas. Like they're not. Like I truly believe that there are so many that just truly are not. Like it's going to be real hard for the SEC to prove that these art NFTs are securities. But there may be some that are securities. And that's the thing. But like the SEC, I think in their thing is going to have to prove that, right? Like they're going to have to go down and be like, these specific ones are NFTs. Yeah, like But if they're just going, hey, OpenSea, like all of your NFTs are securities, they're going to lose that fight. So, but it could be something like, the XRP decision where the judge was kind of like, well, initially when you initially did this portion, this was a security, but now once they were on the and we're going to talk about this as well, but like on the secondary market, now they're not securities, basically, right? So there could be with these decisions where it's like these NFTs are securities and these aren't. Gonna be interesting there, but this the SEC's overreach is insane, man. It's just insane, right? Where they're just willy-nilly throwing. I feel like they just that whole idiom, right, where it's just like you throw crap on the wall and see what sticks. Like that's all they're doing, and they're wasting taxpayer money for this. Like it's driving me insane, man. Like we're funding this, right? Our taxpayer dollars are funding this crap. Unbelievable.
So how much of the I'll skip the SEC slander for right now, but for the Howey test, they would have to, if they want to go out and say some of these are securities and some aren't, they're going to have to go through tens of thousands of projects and determine which ones were, okay, we're going and advertising that these particular NFTs are going to make people money based off third party, et cetera. Like if they have to do that for everyone, that's going to cost a lot of manpower. That's going to be thousands of hours.
They don't have to prove every single one, right? So the first thing that they'll probably say is that OpenSea has been operating as an unregistered securities broker.
Yeah.
Right? Or an unregistered exchange. And all they have to prove is that one of the tokens on one of the NFTs on there is a security potentially, right? Then they can demonstrate that and basically, but then all OpenSea would have to do is be like, okay, we're going to pay a fine, and all you've proven is that this one is a security, so we'll stop. That's not allowed on our exchange and on OpenSea anymore. Bam, done, right? But whatever project that is, it's going to kill that project.
Yeah.
But so here's some of the arguments that I think will be very important to understand. If you look at something like Bored Ape, right? If they can show that, number one, the Bored Ape, the founders of Bored Ape, if when they were doing their initial launch, if they were like, this is going to go up in value, these type of things, right? If they marketed that, the rocket emojis and things, there's a lot there that potentially could, like, if I'm the SEC, that's probably the one that I'm going to target. To be honest, that's probably the biggest one. It's the biggest name, and but I don't know. Even though I went in, I don't recall at the time of the raise or the time that they were doing the minting, I don't recall any promises of this is going to go up in value type thing. Yeah. I think they got to demonstrate that, right? There's got to be a promise like return on investment there. Now, I don't know how long that lasts, right? Is it until the mint is done, or is it even after the mint is done that they can promise? I don't know. Those types of things haven't been vetted out in court before. But I want to address some of the comments here where people are talking about, like, if NFTs on OpenSea are securities, then NFTs on VV are, and potentially, I'll say that potentially, right? Like this is a risk. But like, listen. If VV NFTs are securities, all NFTs are securities, and basically this entire space is done. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's where it ends up, right? I don't believe it's going to end up there. I think that the SEC is overreaching again, and the courts are going to continue to step like on the side of logic and be like, I mean, for example, some of the questions, right? They were like, "Hey, Gary, is a Pokemon card a security?" And he's like, "No." And then they're like, is a digital Pokemon card a security? An NFT, a Pokemon NFT, is that a security? He's like, I can't say. That's insane. Yeah. There has to be consistency. Just because it's on the blockchain does not just magically make it a security when it's not otherwise. Like, so
yeah, I hated that.
Anyways, but this has got to be vetted out. And I mean, it is concerning. And because if for whatever reason one judge rules something, that could hurt the entire industry. So those are my thoughts on it.
Brian, what are you thinking?
Well, this is exactly a definition of regulation by enforcement. So the rules aren't clear because they were written 100 years ago for totally different things. And unfortunately, Gary Gensler is a very political animal. And these are political directives by who? I don't know, Elizabeth Warren or somebody. But keep in mind, like, Gary Gensler knows blockchain, and he was teaching at Harvard. And if you listen to a lot of his talks, he was taking very different stances. But also keep in mind, he was the CFO for the Hillary for America campaign. This is the same one that paid Russians to create a dossier that said Trump was colluding with Russians to get Hillary dirt. So exactly what they were accusing Trump of. And he was the CFO over that. The same campaign was also allegedly paying people to go to Trump rallies to start fights. So the press could say Trump rallies and Trump people were violent. So this is the same Gary Gensler. He's a political animal, right? So these are political things. This is a political move. This is a political play. This isn't about protecting people. This is purely politics for some reason. Like, what is the agenda behind this? I don't know if it's to protect banks. I don't know if it's to just slow crypto down, if it's to try to get them to donate more to the D party. I don't know what it is, but there's an agenda behind it. I don't fully know what it adds up to, why they've gone so anti-crypto in so many ways. And just, yeah, all collectibles are securities. All NFTs are securities. That's ridiculous. And Gary Gensler's like, somebody asked him, are you going to declare Pokemon cards a security? Oh, no, that's absurd. He would if he could. Like, that's the direction they would love to go. He just knows that's too far of a reach. He's going to reach right short of that. And that's what they're trying to do. Why? I wish I was a fly in the wall with the meetings where he's being ordered to do what he's doing so I could understand it better. But I don't know.
I would love that as well. If we can get him out of there, if we can go in. But I mean, I think the only way to get him out of the seat he's in, well, I guess there's two ways, but we'll go over that another time.
Yeah, the only way to get him out of the current administration is to not elect Kamala for president, because she'll probably promote him to Treasury Secretary, and they'll replace him with somebody just as bad or worse.
Yeah. Just get to Turtle here. It's about 150 across all streams tonight. I'm trying to find your other comment, but I can't. Oh yeah, how many cans of beer fit in a flat rate? I don't know.
No idea, bro.
Yeah, I guess since we can't answer that question, we'll just have to come out and see you. We'll just have to go and do that.
Yeah, wait, hey Turtle, in the comments, man, are you coming to NYC?
I think he is.
Yeah. Oh, we got to meet up in person. Turtle,
yeah,
I heart you, buddy. I really.
He's
do.
my bae. Yeah, he's awesome. You were all my baes, but he's also my bae. My group of baes. Anyway, that is so. That's talking about the SEC. Speaking of the SEC, who said it? That's how they got PayPal. Or not PayPal. That's how they got Dapper
Labs.
So this isn't about Dapper, but this is about the SEC. You have Cryptoys that had just come out with their Toyken, their token called Toyken, which is a nice little cool name there.
I like that.
And I think that's a great way to give that utility for them to maybe raise a little bit of money, because obviously they're going to keep a certain amount of them in their business development wallet and stuff. But to my knowledge, they don't have a third party. And isn't this just what the SEC got Dapper for? Because everything was in a closed ecosystem. They had to tell me what is different.
Yeah, so there's a third party marketplace, right? Which is why did I just blank out on that? Where you can go purchase. So what is that called? It'll come to me in just a little bit, and maybe someone in the chat. But basically, you can take your Cryptoys NFT. You kind of have to like convert it through this process, and then you can basically sell it on a third party marketplace. So that is different than Dapper Labs, because Dapper Labs controlled the marketplace, and so that was one of the concerns there. And the other thing too, with like the token now, my understanding, like they didn't do like necessarily a raise that I'm aware of for that. And I haven't done research into what you can use that for, but I'm not as concerned. I don't even know if that's considered a cryptocurrency. But if it is, the fact that like they've already built out like the ecosystem and the marketplace before they did any sort of raise or before they issued the token there, I think that covers them, in my opinion, from even that token, if it is a cryptocurrency, from being considered a security.
Yeah. I think all right. Rain, do you have any thoughts on that, or did he kind of sum that up pretty perfectly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool beans. So just to bring it out to the macro, and how it could affect OMI, or how it could affect, well, I guess anything that we're invested in. But right now, the market cap of stable coins is at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Bitcoin is about 59K. The volume yesterday for all of crypto was like 120 billion. And again, the price of Bitcoin went down. You have $169 billion market cap right now for stables. Everyone comment nice down below for the 69. Why is that? How does that happen? How do we have all-time high market cap for stables, and then Bitcoin being as low as it is?
So a lot of times, all these stables start coming in the market in anticipation of what's coming. Like, so they know what's coming, and likely Bitcoin's going to break to the upside. I would say there's about an 80% chance and a 20% chance it breaks out of the pattern to the downside. But the chance is really high it's going to break up to the upside. And part of the reason so much money is coming in stables is because that's what they're expecting to. And this usually happens prior to runs in Bitcoin.
I'm gonna follow. So Ernie, I have no idea why you're saying doctor ...
Oh, saying Orioles are up 7 games on the Bad Sox.
Thank you, dude. Oh man, the Sox have we've been pretty bad, man.
Damn.
It's been some rough years. But thank you for just like pouring salt in the wound. That's great. Really appreciate that. But to back up real quick, so sorry to do this, but the Cryptoids thing. So they have 2 marketplaces, and as long as there's a third-party marketplace, which is on Rarible, so the digital toy exchange, that's where you can exchange between non-custodial wallets, right? So Rarible, that's powered by Rarible, that digital toy exchange, and then there's a token market. So it's okay that Cryptoids, and this is just my opinion, right? But I would say that it's okay that Cryptoids has their own marketplace, because there's also a third-party marketplace as well that they don't control, where things can happen there. So that's his comment. That hurts, buddy. That hurts.
Oh, what? Okay. Moving on here. We have theories. Okay. We haven't had Mr. MC1 on in a little while. I think it was a couple weeks ago we had him on. He had teased a little bit about the VV parties. You guys have been to them. Were you guys in New York last year? I know you were just in San Diego, but were you guys in New York? You guys were not in New York last year. When did we spend New York together? It was NFT NYC.
2022.
Yeah.
NFT NYC.
Okay. So now we have the 2 different parties. We're not sure which date. They're going to be on Thursday and Friday. Mr. MC1's Gold Logo Party will be either on that Thursday or that Friday. The VV Party will be on either one or the other. Last year, they did something really cool. Because they had like thousands of people wanting to get into this party, they had to like let people in shifts. What was really cool is that they let the gold logo holders in first if they got there, on time. And then they also had the mogul grin. And if you got, I think the secret rare of the mogul grin, you were able to get in there early as well. And then other people could get in, but it was like hours later. Apparently this time is supposed to be much bigger. I don't know how you get much bigger than that. I don't know the type of venue that they're going to. Do you have any theories on what they might do? I mean, they had like people dancing on the ceiling last time, hanging from ropes. It was wild.
Go ahead, Rain.
No idea. I wasn't there at that party. Sounds like a fun party. I have no idea what he's got planned.
Yeah, look, all I've heard is that, and there's been rumors, is that this is going to be the biggest party that they've thrown to date.
Yeah.
And so I don't have like a good reference. Like, we had a fun party at San Diego Comic-Con. It wasn't anything crazy by any means, right? And so, especially when I compare it to like what I saw in New York Comic-Con with Marvel.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, if it's bigger than that one, I am pumped, and I would love for them to do something similar, right? Where, and shout out to Truck and Hank. Maybe it's OMI SR holders get something, right? Like they get access first, or like if there's tiers of access, right? Like kind of throwing some love to the OMI SR holders. So, potential human, I heart you, buddy. And look, I'm not nearby Boston by any means. But this is a plea. Hold on, sorry. This is a tangent real quick. This is a plea to any of the VV fan out there who lives near Fenway Park. I got this hoodie at Fenway Park. It is getting pretty old. I need a new one, but I freaking want one from Fenway Park. I will pay for you to go over there, pay for you to ship it, and I'll like throw some extra cash in there just for your troubles.
You're going to pay my plane ticket over there? I'll go right now.
No.
I'll go tonight.
This is someone who lives close by Fenway Park.
Got to be specific.
Otherwise, I would just fly out there, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways, so just throwing that out there. But yeah, my bad. I totally derailed myself on where I was. Oh, just the party. So yeah. I have no idea what they're going to do, but if it's going to be bigger, and it'll be interesting because last time they had a partner sponsor, right? So will they have a partner sponsor this time? And so is it going to be Marvel or is it going to be someone else? That'd be interesting.
I mean, last time well, I don't know if I can say this. Well, obviously last time you had these partnerships with Marvel and Funko because of the release of that Iron Man. They did that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you can go bigger. I mean, maybe get the parent company, get Disney on there, instead of Marvel, or get, some of the executives there. But the people there, so they hired the Uyaba guys to do the what's it called, the Ultraman stuff, the Ultraman show, and that was pretty fun to see. They hired some professional cosplayers, some of which I knew. That was pretty fun as well. But I feel like, and again, that was great, not complaining. But if they want to have I feel like most people didn't really recognize them. Like how many people really, are super into Ultraman in the U.S. and how many people were super into the cosplay and that they know them. So I feel like if they could reallocate those funds to something like I don't know, some type of maybe like a mini concert where somebody comes up and they perform a couple songs. I'm not saying they get Blackpink. I think that'd be insane. I just saw how much they earn. That girl Lisa earns like $600,000 per sponsored post on Instagram. She has like 100-something million followers. So I don't think they could do that unless somehow David got that as part of the deal. What's up, sleeping? How's it going, fam? But yeah, maybe like a party outside, or maybe like how people have rooftop parties. Somehow build like a little walkway bridge in between roofs and have a multi-roof party.
That would be awesome.
Stuff like this would be cool, but I feel like with a lot of alcohol involved, probably not the best idea for that. A rooftop party in general.
That's fair.
Anyway. One of the things, and we'll go over what Foster said as well. He said OMI will have utility in the VVverse. But speaking of VVverse, Earth 2 posted another video today. I'll see if I can go in and see how many views that has. And their video was of all right, so about 25,000 views in the last 11 hours, which is pretty not bad. That's pretty okay. And they did that. They do this every month. And for VVverse, they haven't done that yet. They might do that in the future, but these little teases, it seems to, at least for the Earth 2 fans, there's 150,000 monthly active users, according to Earth 2. According to these guys, they don't care when the metaverse comes out. Obviously we care, but they still keep getting pumped. Everyone's like, yes, oh my God, this looks great. There's just something new, and it's just a couple minutes of a video. What would be some potential reasons why VV and Cavernous and the VVverse do not give us a little, even just a 10-second clip? Is it to help build suspense? Is it to help do something else? Or do you think that they might just be dropping the ball?
They might be missing the value of that, not understanding it, or there might be some kind of NDAs where they're just like, not that they couldn't talk to, if they have partners involved, talk to them and work it out. But I don't know. Sometimes it seems like lately they're erring far on the side of caution. Yeah. But yeah, they're probably missing out on an opportunity.
I'm gonna agree. Man, I don't know why. I can't like, even with like the NDA stuff, like that can't be with all of the partners, with all of their IP, even like independent artists and stuff. So I don't get it, and I'm bummed. I agree that I feel like that's a pretty substantial missed opportunity.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, one of them, which we know, they've already said it's going to be Ron English's Delusionville, and we would get something extra if we had the set of the Mogul Grin guy. So I figured that would be something that they could show off. But again, it might not just be like a top priority for them. But we do know, Foster, he did say, as this guy Goldie Boy says, as an OMI token holder since February 21, I'm still unclear about its intended use beyond bronze tickets buying collectibles. Will the token still be integrated in the VVverse? I bought a significant amount thinking it would be used to purchase land. Foster responds, it is intended that OMI will be integrated into the VVverse for utility. The original design and use case for the token was for the purchase and sale of collectibles, which we have in beta currently. As new features are released, more info will be provided. So it does sound like, again, he was very just straight up with it. It'll have utility, but he didn't say what. I mean, I know that we can't buy land right now. We probably will be able to one day at some point, years down the road, after regulatory clarity is done, and there might be certain ways around that. But for right now, I don't know what else. Maybe some skins, maybe some items, some other type of NFTs. Do you guys have any thoughts or ideas?
There's a ton of ways that you could implement it, man. Like, there's so many different ways. Like, I mean, it can be things, even something as simple as like VVIP stuff, right? That you can buy, right? But then also, like, people can potentially create games in there, right? And you could wager an OMI. Like, the only way to do that is to wager an OMI, and a portion of that gets burned. I mean, yeah, there can be like entries like to certain VVverse homes or something like that, where you have to pay OMI to do that. I mean, just think of that like as a world currency in there, right? Like, and what can you do with money here? And that's how you could apply that OMI there in the VVverse. Now, is VVverse going to be like a Ready Player One? Like, I don't think so. At least like not anytime in like the like that's like years and years and years and years out, like in my mind. But like I look at Minecraft and stuff. Like, could it be something like that? Hopefully the graphics are better than that. But like, I think that there's just a lot of ways that they could use that token. To be honest, so yeah. I'm not, and that's one thing I think I want to address that, because that was one of the people hit me up in the DMs and they were like, "Hey Doc, can you talk about this? Like, what are some of the things that the team can do to implement OMI to kind of like," and they talk about price, but like I think of it as the way that the price would go up on OMI is there has to be demand for it. Yeah. Right? There has to be demand for the token. Like that's all it is. It's just a supply and demand thing. And so, like, what are some of the things that they could implement? I think that we're going to start seeing that is the OMI to NFT. That's got to be fully rolled out for people to actually see like why it would be useful to do that. First and foremost, but then in the VVverse, demonstrating like why I would want to use a token, and I don't know, this is the one thing too, like if you're forced to use the token, is that a concern? But maybe if it's a third party that's saying, hey, for my home, like, I want you to use it to get in. I don't know. There's some things there, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what are some of the things that can be implemented that kind of haven't been spoken about potentially that could increase that utility, which would then potentially help the demand of the token.
Am I Ellie Goulding in 2011? Because you got to let it burn, burn, burn. This week is Burning Man in the US. And what do? People build these amazing, crazy machines. They build these amazing structures. And then they really add to that carbon footprint. And they burn it all at the end of the week. Early September, they're going to go and they have these giant ducks. They have these giant wooden ducks, not real ducks. These giant wooden things, all electronic stuff. And they burn them. And that's at Burning Man. People dance in the ashes. If you're aliens looking down, it looks like a sick ritual. But for the most part, I hear it's very, very fun. A lot of cool substances out there. And I feel like we should do something like that in the VV-verse. Now, obviously, you can have it turned on and off in some different ways. Like I want a giant jukebox that if you put in, $10 worth of OMI into, it plays a song for the entire VV-verse. And you can go in and say like, well, that sounds like that'd be really annoying. What if somebody puts like the It's a Small World song on over and over? Sorry, Disney. Or what if somebody puts on like What's New Pussycat or like whatever, all these things like over and over again. And it's like, okay, well, you could have it on like in VV-verse, or you could have, whatever in the VV-verse and you could be off, or you could still run around and do things, but you just wouldn't be subject to the other ongoings that's in that world. And you can do that at your own leisure. But I would be playing Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy all the time. I would be like, and again, they'd have to license this music out. Maybe they wouldn't get any money for that. But again, anything for that OMI burn. If there's this could get really dangerous. But if there's an episode of what's the name of that show? Eliza Thornberry, The Wild Thornberries, where she's really, really mad at her sister. So she makes a snowman, dresses it up in her sister's clothes, and starts chucking snowballs at it. Now, you could have something similar, and you can get as G-rated or as R-rated as you want with it. Let me build this of someone I don't like, and then just, fire flaming arrows at it, and then watch it burn. And in order to do that, you have to pay a certain amount of OMI. You want fire arrows? Different than normal arrows. You got to pay some OMI. All of these different things, I think, would really add to the utility and the burning rain. Why are you laughing so much?
Those are some creative thoughts. I love it, right?
Thanks, man.
I don't know that Vivi would put that in, but that would be freaking awesome. I especially love the idea of like the universal song. And like it would be somewhat annoying, but then you're thinking more OMI burning every time a song's playing. It's just like, that's a pretty good idea. So I would love, like, I don't have an invite to the VV-verse, and if I did, I wouldn't be able to talk about it anyway. So I would love to have a good idea where things are at there and why the delays and what's going on there. I haven't put much hopes on the VV-verse because I don't think the VV-verse has to come together this bull run for OMI to do well and for VV to do well. And so if it happens, I'm like, yay. If nothing happens there, I'm like, so what? So what?
I remember being in Miami in 2010. Shakira's her song Waka Waka for the FIFA World Cup had come out, and there was this guy. It was at some beach party, and he was DJ, and he said for like $10 I'll play your song at some point. For like $25 I'll play your song like next, and for $100 I'll stop whatever song I'm in the middle of and I'll play your song. And there was a couple of times that night where music was playing and it stopped, and then it went to the Waka Waka, and I was like, okay, this dude's making a lot of money. If we can get someone like an NFT Wonderful, the Pineapple Gang guy, or just anyone, it doesn't have to be him. It could be anyone that goes in and says, we're going to have this massive party and do something like that, like $10 worth of OMI, 5 goes to me, 5 goes to the burn. I would do that all the time. That'd be
so cool.
Yeah. But
I like that. I like that, Randy. Like that is such a fun, and that's the thing is I think it's going to take some time for people once they get in there. It's wild when you get a huge group of people, like the innovation that can happen, right? Because you've just thought of a couple ideas, but really like throw 1,000 people in there, and all of a sudden people are like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Right? And but it's just implementing that, and it's going to take a little bit longer time. And so, there was a comment when I posted this, OMI is my homie. Someone was just like, oh my gosh, OMI is so stale. These people must be mentally challenged. And it just goes to show you like how difficult it is, right, to have belief in something and hold on to that belief when the token or whatever is just not doing well. But I just continue to look at like VB continues to build. Now, are there things that we wish could happen, like 10-second snippets, right, of the VB verse and certain things? And to Wes's point, like I would love to see that 5.5 billion OMI burned from the business development wallet, right? Or at least hear something on that. Like I think that would be big. Now, Wes, to that, like if I'm Ecomi, I might be being like, look, let's get OMI the NFT out and get those burns going and get some kind of momentum, and then make that announcement to have like a bigger impact. Because I think if they just made that announcement right now, I don't like. It's good because that would be the fulfillment of like something that they stated that they were going to do. But like, what impact would that have right now on sentiment overall? I don't think much. But if they kind of can build off that and then utilize that, they would. But I would love for them to kind of make an announcement being like, this is still the plan, and stay tuned or something.
The invites for OMI to NFT seem to be going out pretty quickly, and it seems to be developing a lot faster than the invites and everything for VVverse. So, as if you want to make a bet, I'll put my money where my mouth is and say that they'll probably be here a bit before 2025. Obviously, again, it's just fun. So let me know. Moving on here, we have $5.5 million flowing into NFTs last week. The comeback seems like it's near. I would say that it seems like things are ramping up, and I know that the NFT bull market last time happened at the end of the bull market, late 2021, early 2022. So it's likely that could happen again, but things don't repeat exactly the same. History doesn't repeat, it often rhymes though. I feel like now there could be a spark that sets something off. What do you guys think could be that spark? Or do you think like, listen, Chavez, it was just 1 week that we had $5.5 million go in. If that persists, maybe something comes up, but we can't say anything off of just 1 week.
Yeah, that means somebody was coming in buying up floors, right? But it persisting is critical for things taking off. But like NFTs are going to run this cycle. I know a lot of people doubt that. They're like, this cycle is all about memes. And it's like, that's just recency bias kicking in. AI and memes. And it's like, well, that's because AI and memes have already run. But people then making assumptions and projecting that out and like NFTs aren't going to run this cycle. And it's like the chances that NFTs run this cycle are at least 90%. So is there a chance that they don't run? Yes. But why won't they run? Why won't digital collectibles be one of the biggest conversations? Is most of the world wakes up to this idea that blockchain allows the internet to do things it couldn't do, like collectibles online that can be verifiable and put on a marketplace online that you're actually selling the real item. It's just going to happen. So is there a chance it doesn't happen? Yes, but it's just a really small chance.
Yeah, I don't think the SEC would be going after OpenSea if it was so small that they're never going to run again. They would only be doing that, trying to justify their existence on something that is big and juicy. But, that's my opinion. Doc, what are your thoughts?
Just shouting out O'Milly here.
O'Milly!
Fro Comey, man, that guy. I gotta shout that guy out every time, man. I love his post. I don't know if you guys saw his video of like the Olympics and things. It's so funny, and like Electra cheering on the sideline. he gets a participation trophy at the end. It's so good, man. I just love that stuff. Like the community is just like top notch there. So again, like this is one of those times where I was focused on the chats. Just give me a brief synopsis again, Randy, of the topic.
Oh, sure. We had about $5.5 million flow into NFTs.
Yeah,
okay.
I got it. Yeah. So I'm with Rain. Like it's got to be sustained, right? Like you've got to start seeing those floors stay there, or more money flowing in and buying that up for me to start being like, okay, there's a trend. That's what I need to see is like a trend, right? And I think it's interesting. And I love your guys' thoughts on this. I have my own thoughts, but so in general, NFT floors of the, I would say of the blue, man, why is my brain just crazy right now? But the bigger IP, right? The Bored Apes, the Doodles, some of those, the blue chip NFTs were the ones whose floors kind of raised. But so like, why do you guys think that VV NFT blue chips didn't necessarily raise? Is there a correlation between NFTs and VV NFTs, and if so, why not? Or if not, why not?
It's not a direct correlation. They run at different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just harder for people to get ETH into the ecosystem. I mean, you'd have to cash that like right now because there's no OMI to NFT yet. It's just in beta. You'd have to cash out to your bank, and then you'd have to go in and either via PayPal or your bank, go in and buy these gems. And if you don't know that you have to do it on the web browser, and I think even the web browser, last I checked, I think you could do like 10,000 at a time. But on the app, it's painful to try to buy a large amount of stuff. And these ETH whales is like, that's not worth it. There's too many steps. They don't want to do it.
It's too hard to move the money from ETH into the OMI ecosystem that it just creates a lag and a delay and a separation.
Yeah.
I just asked that because I know that there are fudders who point that out, right? They're just like, oh, NFTs are running and VVs aren't, ha ha ha. Look at this. And again, these people just, I just feel bad for them. Like that they spend their life just cheering for failures instead of like looking for successes. Blows my mind. But like, here's the thing that I thought was really interesting that actually took me by surprise. So I follow some whales, like NFT whales and things, and that are pretty big in the space and have pretty big influence. And at one point, a few of them commented on VV NFTs and how they were in the ecosystem and how crazy it got. And that kind of took me by surprise. I was like, I didn't know that. Like, some of those guys were like, why I even looked into Bored Apes and why I looked into Ghosts with an X and like some of these other early projects that like really pumped and stuff. And they were also into VV NFTs and things. And so I just think that overall with it, when we do get only the NFT and there is that ease, we'll see if how that plays out. And I want to bring up this this topic because again, this is another. If that's okay, can we jump to another topic?
Yeah.
Because I want to get your thoughts on this too. And again, I'll respond as well. But shout out to one of the fam that hit me up in the DMs and. Basically, there are some people that like I now label as fudders, but that basically are saying VV NFTs aren't real NFTs, right? Because basically it's like a validity proof. It's not actually minted onto the layer 1 blockchain.
Yeah, there's ZK rollups.
So there's the metadata isn't on chain like that. And so they're not even real NFTs. And it's misleading that VV says this stuff, right? So that's the comment. And the person was like, hey, can you address this? Because their whole reason, and I think that this is valid. I think it's very important to have this discussion, right? And to talk about this is people are like, one of the reasons that I'm excited about VV, right, is because it's the first on the blockchain. Right, is what they're saying. These are FAs, and I think that holds a lot of value. If you look historically at FA appearances and things, those hold the most value. And so, as I'm looking at VV NFTs with a lot of this IP, if this isn't actually considered an NFT, then are they not the first? And then what does that mean, right? So, I have my thoughts, but I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on that, and then I'll follow it up.
For lack of a better comparison, it's just the first one that popped in my head. The success of Walt and Jesse on Breaking Bad was because they could cook meth that was 96.2% pure when the competition was like 76%. And it was like, oh, it's pure. And you have these like pure Web3ists that are really going to care about not just the data is minted on the blockchain, but the whole thing is minted on the blockchain. And those, how many people are really going to care? Like, so in Breaking Bad, Walt wanted perfection. Jesse's like, dude, it's like 92%. It's fine. And Walt's like, no, it needs to be 96. And I feel like most people, not to compare NFT goers to tweakers, but I feel like most people are not going to care that the entire NFT is on the blockchain or just the data is. Will people care? Sure. There's going to be those pure Web3 purists that'll be like, nope, it's not a real NFT to me, even though everybody else thinks it is. This is the hill I'm going to die on. I'm going to pontificate on this hill and preach to the world about it. But I feel like most people, just because it's a new technology, people just be like, okay, it's NFT. Most everyone else agrees that's an NFT. It's like consciousness. How do we know we're conscious? It's because we can verify with other people that are conscious. Okay, this works. And you're going to have those people be like, well, how do you know that other person's conscious? How do you know that? How do you know we're not in a butterfly's dream right now? And it's like, okay, I guess not. It's a little ridiculous, but sure. If you want to go that route, and I think those people might be sad that they're going to get left out of some really fun things. So that's kind of my view on it.
Really what price comes down to is supply and demand. Supply for a lot of these things are. So the question is, what is demand going to be? And there might be some people that come in and say, oh, no, they're not pure enough. No, they're not. Like, they didn't launch on OpenSea on the ETH chain or Polygon, so therefore I'm not going to touch them. I would say that's a minority of people, especially as the next blockchain run brings in a wave of brand new people who they're not going to care. For them, like, it's going to be about ease of acquisition. And one of VV's strengths is ease of acquisition for people that are outside the crypto ecosystem. They don't have $10,000 in ETH that they're trying to move over to this. They have a credit card and they'll be like, oh, I can buy gems, or I can use those to buy collectibles. And so that's really what's going to drive the price of the collectibles going crazy, is just new people coming in, finding about these cool VV things, and then bringing in money from their cards to buy it. Then they, probably the NFT whales will be like, oh, wait, those are going up. And then they will then chase into it, right? Because green candles bring bigger green candles. So probably it'll play out like that. I do expect VV is going to have enough traction. One of its massive strengths is its ease for people who are brand new to then buy stuff on the marketplace and on the app. And so it'll bring in waves and waves and waves of new users that then drive up prices. And then they all tell their friends and it drives up prices even more. And then a lot of the NFT rich people bring some of their money over, even though it's a pain to bring it over. And then they're putting it into ecosystem too. That's my guess on how that plays out. Yeah, and though some people will care, oh my gosh, it's not a true NFT. Most won't.
See, but again, I'm going to go back to like Randy's, but like, who gets to define like what like a true NFT is? And I guess like if you want to get that, then the whole thing has to be on chain. I guess like, but like the term is non-fungible token, right? It's just a token that is different from every other token. That's what the term NFT means. Now, some people have meant that, oh, like for it to be a true NFT, it has to be fully on chain, but it doesn't. You can still differentiate if the image isn't on chain. Even without the image, you would be able to identify by the token ID that it's a different token than another token, which makes it a non-fungible token, right? Like, so this is where I say that the fudding is coming in, right? They're trying to like make this argument that's really not substantiated. This is their opinion, and it's going to play out. But what we've seen play out so far is that people have literally been willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for these VV collectibles that right now are on an L2, right? Like on IMX through this validity proof. And the reason that they're okay with it, and the thing that I would say is that validity proof is still a proof that the transactions have occurred, right? It's just like a gathering of a bunch of transactions with a validity proof that can be minted on L1 at any time. And then once it's on L1, it's on an L1 blockchain. And I think that what people care about is the fact that you can then, at any point in time, you could prove, and if people could be like, well, this was on the L1 blockchain versus like, right. But once I bring this down to the L1. It will point back to when this was in that validity proof, right? And point to the date, and that will prove that this was done earlier than yours. And that's what I think that people care about. So for me, and this is just me speaking, but I still believe that VV collectibles are the FA of non-fungible tokens. And so that's where I'm at on that, right? And again, it's backed up by the fact that there are thousands, tens of thousands of people who have paid real money for these things because they also believe that. And there are a lot of people, like the biggest bro just said, he's like, I don't freaking care. It's attached to the IP, and the IP says it's the first. I think that's what really people are going to care about. So you can get some crypto expert or crypto bro, right, that's going to sit there and say these things, and it's like, well, we've already debunked a lot of the things that you've said anyway, so your credibility just continues to get hacked away. So that's my opinion on it, and hopefully that addresses it. Everyone can have different opinions, and like Randy and Rainbow said, like there's going to be some people who are purists and they don't want that. That's okay, but is the demand still going to be there enough to where these are sought after? And I believe they will be.
I'm sure. I mean, you have just, I guess, a better translation that I, or allegory that I should use is that I feel like the Web3 purists are a little bit more like boomers. Like back in the day when, in the 90s, when Will Smith's Getting Jiggy With It came out, a lot of these oldies, these boomers, like, oh, that's not music. That's not real music. And they couldn't handle that. At the time, rap was just more popular than the oldies music. And then when I was in 7th grade, I got my hands on a new Oxford English dictionary, and the word jiggy was in it. And when does a word become a word? Is when everybody accepts that, the vernacular changes, and it's like, okay, we all agree that this combination of letters is a word. When most of the rest of the people that are spending money in this community, in the NFT and crypto community, are spending money on an NFT, it's probably an NFT. Just as the same way swag, bay, fam, and muggle are also in the Oxford English Dictionary, most people are probably going to view BV NFTs as NFTs. Anyway.
Your comparisons, Randy. Love the stuff that you come up with there. I don't think I'd pull stuff like that out in a million years. It's so fun.
Got a million of them.
That's great.
So another thing we're going to go on, probably should have talked about this before. I guess we'll do it now. SEC versus Kraken. SEC versus Coinbase. Now SEC versus Kraken. I can tell why OMI is not on these exchanges right now. Can you guys tell us a little bit more about
it? I haven't followed the new issue with Kraken, right? The problem with Kraken is they settled with the SEC before, and it's kind of like giving the bully your lunch money. The SEC has been acting like a bully. Like a regulator is supposed to provide clarity, and they purposely have been very not clear, and then attacking select projects. And so like Kraken settled with them over something like 2 years ago and gave them much money.
Service. Gave them $30 million. So SEC went after them for their staking as a service.
Yes. And they paid them a bunch of money, and all that did was embolden the SEC, right? And they counted that as one of their wins when they're like, oh, you're making all these losses. Oh, look at all the wins we have. And it's like, yeah, that's all the people that settled with you because the litigation costs were expensive. But Gary saw them all as wins, right? Oh, we got Paris Hilton and we got these other celebrities and stuff. And look at us doing all this good for people. And it's like, go away, Gary. Nobody wants you. I guess 5 people do. Nobody else. People as they're waking up to crypto aren't going to want you. You're going to go down as a bad guy in history. It's not going well for you. And I know you're a political animal and you think you're running the press releases like you're some YouTube influencer. You are delusional. People don't like you, and you're not protecting anyone except for whoever those 5 people are that are super rich, that you're protecting their interests somehow. But regular people realize you're not protecting them.
So yeah, let me give you a little bit of background, right? Rain kind of touched on that. SEC went after Kraken for their staking as a service. Kraken settled thinking, look, let's just get them off our back. It'll be easier that way. It'll be less expensive. And then SEC got emboldened. And so then they went after Kraken basically for being an unregistered like securities exchange, right? For selling securities, unregistered securities on their platform. And that's where Kraken then filed a motion to dismiss, right? To say like, hey, you haven't proven that any of these tokens that you've listed are actually securities. So that was their motion to dismiss basis for throwing this case out. So the judge reviewed it, and this is weird, right? Like the judge basically said, the judge basically said, well, listen, even though the tokens themselves might not be securities, the initial actions of the fundraising and then the transactions that are occurring currently could constitute an investment contract. And it's like, okay, but you still haven't demonstrated, like that's one prong. Like there's more to, like, when you say, there's more to that. Like, but all he basically is saying is that Kraken did not demonstrate well enough, or that there's enough on the SEC has enough of an argument to let this proceed to trial. But here's the difference, right? XRP did go to trial. And in that trial, that's when the judge said, hey, I think that initially maybe like the raising of these things could be a security, but now that they're trading on the secondary market, they're basically not a security, right? That's actually gone to trial, as opposed to like just denying the motion to dismiss and having all of the evidence presented. So we're going to have to wait that out, and it sucks for Kraken because they're going to have to pay more money on this, but it's going to be up to the SEC to really prove now that all of these tokens really are securities. Now, let's play this out a little bit more and say, let's say that this goes through and the judge then rules and says they're trading on the secondary market and they are securities, right? As opposed to the other judge that said that they weren't. Well, these judges are in different district courts, and that can actually be a good thing, because when you get two judges from different district courts with different rulings on the same topic, then you have the right to then bring it up to a higher court, right? Which then could be elevated at the end to the Supreme Court. I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that point. That could be years away. But like, I just believe that if it gets to that point, the SEC is just going to be destroyed at that point, right? To lose a case at the Supreme Court level, oh my gosh, that is going to, like, I think at that point, Gary Gensler would be gone. If he isn't gone already, he'd be gone. He'd be asked to step down after that. So we'll see what happens there. But man, it's crazy. This stuff is crazy.
It's amazing that he's still there with the losses that they've had in the Utah lawsuit, where they were like told that they were malicious, and like the words of that judge were crazy, and they've been told that they're arbitrary and capricious. Normally a regulator in charge of an out of control thing would be asked to step down. The problem is he's doing exactly what his superiors are telling him to do. So they're not going to remove him, and he's the fall guy. Like, this is the funny thing. It's like you have all these aspirations. You're being the fall guy for them, right? So whoever is telling you what to do, they're not taking all this backlash. You are, because your actions are extremely unpopular. Like, cool. Maybe he's got some promises, some kind of like golden parachute that he won't care, that he'll have tens of millions of dollars a year or whatever. Maybe there's some kind of deal like that, but like, he's tarnished for forever.
See, I'm like, listen, when Trump says like, first thing I'm going to do is fire Gary Gensler, and like the crowd just went crazy. And then he said it again because it was so big, and it got even bigger cheers, right? Like, that's how much this guy is hated within the crypto.
And it's not just Republicans. It's like any Democrats that are in crypto are just like, oh, F this guy.
Right. Yeah. It is a bipartisan agreement, right? That everyone hates Gensler.
Yeah. Except for Elizabeth Warren supporters. And none of them are in crypto, apparently. So
it's just heckin' wild. We have a great news for OMI because we're on Base. Base is absolutely running away from the rest of the layer twos with millions of more users than anyone else. Yeah, Dr. Prophet says we're going to have so much fun on Base, and there's a reason that they're building Stacker World and Base saying Base will become the chain for mainstream onboarding, and there are more partnerships in the work. What could he mean?
I don't know, but think about when you have an entrepreneur like this create a business that integrates with the bigger business. Like I love it when people just argue with him on Twitter, and you have somebody that probably makes $5,000 a year living in their mom's basement, arguing with a guy that's created a business worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's like, just because you have a voice doesn't mean you should speak, except to ask someone like that questions, right? That doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, but realize this guy knows way more than any professor you had growing up. And so when you have somebody like that building a business that's runs successful business, that's a great thing. We see all kinds of projects launch in the crypto space. And 95% of the projects I see launch in the crypto space don't have a leader as experienced in business as him. So I'm excited that he's created this business that then integrates and gives utility to OMI, that is going to allow a marketplace that gets them out of trouble so that they don't control their own marketplace. Like, it's really exciting what he's doing because he's a serious player, right? So I'm excited with all his plans. I don't know what they all are. I don't talk to him on a regular basis like I know you two do. But he's a serious player, and when he puts his mind to things, things get done.
So I think this is, again, just speculation, but one of the partnerships that's probably got to happen is some ability to purchase only with a credit card on Stacker. So whether that's MoonPay or and there's a variety of, I mean, there's not a ton, to be honest, but there are some different companies that are doing that. So I would imagine that's got to be a pretty high priority. I guess in my mind it is, but and maybe not for his. But like I think that's potential one of the partnerships, right? And that would be so meaningful if there is a reason to have OMI on Stacker, right? And that's where you talk about like the incentives, where I've said that there's probably going to be an arbitrage opportunity where, for me, if I want to list something to sell to cash out, right? I'm going to list it on Stacker because there's no 10% cash out fee. But to do that, to incentivize people to buy my collectible with OMI, I'm gonna have it at a lower price than what it is on Vivi's marketplace, right? So then people can be like, I'll buy that for OMI. And so, like, if I'm really wanting to collect certain sets and things, and I can buy OMI with a credit card, right? And I could just that ease of access to it. I think it's so important to get. It's the psychology of purchasing, like, and that's so key, right? Like, it goes down to like credit card companies. They've analyzed the exact like dimensions of the credit card. It has some background in like psychology, right? Like something that just looks good, right? And it's like, if you have cash in your pocket and you go to buy something, you're way less likely to buy it than like a credit card, right? And so that's the same thing with OMI, purchasing OMI with a credit card. If you've got to go through Coinbase and purchase it and do all of these other steps, you would want to do this, but you're just like, that's too many steps. Like, I know, right? But if you can just be like, okay, I can feed the emotional state I'm in right now and satisfy it immediately by purchasing OMI with a credit card, I'm going to do it. So that's why I'm saying I think it would be a top priority, and that's my guess as to what one of those partnerships is some platform that's going to allow you to purchase OMI with a credit card.
Heck yeah. That would be, this crazy scenario. I'm not going to go through it, but yeah, that's how Joe Sixpack goes in. The average American goes in, they buy OMI. They say, it's going to be really hard for them to go and say, okay, I need a Coinbase. I have to wait 7 days. I have to do all this stuff, transfer to Coinbase wallet, and then transfer all the OMI. But just going in, having your kids say, or wife, son, whatever, say like, hey, could we pay this on Vivi? And you just hand them your credit card. It's so much easier, so much simpler. And again, Dr. Profit knows when you get to his level of success and his level of influence, you can pretty much get on the phone with whoever you want. And he won't make that call. He'll have somebody he knows make that call to somebody who works for who he wants to talk to. And then they'll set up a meeting. So I'm very, very bullish on what he has planned. Not sure what it is, but I am very bullish.
Yeah. He's an exceptionally brilliant and driven guy.
Yeah. One thing, I don't know who asked it up there before. Today, we had Alien Comics, meaning like it was the Xenomorphs versus the Avengers, and I didn't get that. I want to get that. Did you guys get that? Because that's something that I would love to read.
I had it in my cart when someone talked about that. I think it was a Truck and Hank who said that, and I was like, "Oh, I got to buy that." And then I just checked, and it expired in my cart, so I need to buy that right now. I'm going to tell you guys what I get.
I'll see if it's. Let's say, how many of them are there? Because if you have
edition size, you mean like?
Yeah, because if it's on the, is it Aliens one or Avengers one?
Huh?
Oh, I see it. Aliens versus Avengers. And I'm going to buy. Oh, if it's $6 for the common, I might as well just go and try and gamble for the, for the secret rare, and this way that'll be even better. But that's one of those things that I feel like a lot of the superhero stuff, a lot of this writing is so brilliant, and I feel bad for people that like, it's a comic book, and they just don't understand how awesome that is, how cool it is. Anyway, this has been in the news recently with the arrest of the founder of Telegram. Breaking news this morning, Mark Zuckerberg has now admitted to Congress that Kamala Harris and Biden administration did in fact coerce Facebook to censor Americans on his sites, including humor and satire posts. Now granted, these are American companies, so that is what it is. But then you had Binance this morning at the behest of Israel, freeze an entire country's assets. They freeze all of Palestinians' assets and their crypto on there. So it's clear that a lot of these, and I won't go either which way. I'm leaning towards anything, but it seems that companies more often than not cede to the dictates of corrupt governments, and they go and say, "Yeah, we'll do your bidding." What do you think the odds are that Vivi might be one of those companies? Government's not going to focus on Vivi now because they're worth, in the 9 figures. But when they are worth tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars, there's a chance that governments might say, like, "Hey, we want all your people's data." What do we do if Vivi plays ball? Do we be like, "Hey, that's not cool"? Do we revolt? Like, how do we handle that situation?
They do have some data on us, but limited data, right? But they will have like your transaction history, and of course, Vivi's going to turn that over. I would be surprised if they didn't, right? There's a lot of pressure brought to bear by governments. Like Twitter is taking the hard stance right now, and thank goodness they are, because that is the right stance. It's just hard to be in that position. Why? Founder of Telegram just got arrested in France, right? Like, yeah, governments can jail you. And this isn't a new problem. Realize the FBI arrested the creators of TCP/IP because they wouldn't create a backdoor for the government to be able to monitor all the data. So like, this is a fight with the internet that's gone on for a while. Unfortunately, back in, when 2001 happened and they passed all this KYC anti-money laundering stuff, essentially that gave the government huge more power so that they can track everything on you. And like, that's why you end up having to KYC is everything, because we got to make sure you're not funding terrorism with your comic book purchases. I hope over time those laws get repealed and stuff, because I'd love to say we could trust the government with our data and they would never abuse that. The more power you give the government, the more they will abuse you. It just is how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to add to that. I agree.
Okay, copy that.
Yeah.
There was I finally found this from Sven Dongen, who I'll leave out his latest post, for the kids that are here. He posted about, he plays Fortnite a lot, and noticed that there's this heart in Fortnite. Now, most people just look at this, that's just a heart, but that's pretty similar to Vivi's, collector at heart's heart. Any speculation there? Is it something that is possible, or is it like Chavez? Stop trying to connect dots that aren't there.
It's too different. Like it's close, but it's not the same.
I feel like you're doing this, Randy.
You feel like I'm reaching?
You're reaching. I think that's a reach, in my opinion. Does not look at all like the BB heart.
Clearly, being quick to cry is normal heart, bro. It's like, all right. Anyway, so Vivi Fox, bless her heart, love her, has done an analysis, and it was earlier this year saying that in February 2024, 11%, if 11% of any collectible were in the hands of non-collectors, let's say like the Vivi Gold logo, or I'm sorry, that was a misstep there. If you have, there are 7 types of people on Vivi. There's aggressive flippers all the way to diamond hand collectors. And that gold logo now only has 6 to 8% of them sit in non-collector wallets, where they're trader, flipper, seasoned flipper, or aggressive flipper. But the rest are in diamond hand, serious collector, or collector's wallets. If this party in New York Comic-Con is everything that we think it might be, and suddenly people make these awesome connections, they're able to go and meet and greet people, stuff that people would pay maybe thousands of dollars for. What do you think happens to these gold logos that are, there's only 34 of them that are unredeemed still, and probably less because probably half of those were given out, but they were just never redeemed.
There's only 34 left out of 500, huh?
Yes, that are unredeemed.
Wow. That's wild. I mean, look, I have multiple gold and silver logos. I think that long term these hold substantial value. And Randy, like you've talked about it, right? Like I think you just hit it, like the ability to have access to Dan and David and to these parties where like they're bringing major IP and you're getting like the CEO of Marvel, like what? Like that's crazy. You don't get that access any other way unless you're paying for a substantial event, and then even then, like you're not interacting with them at that point. Like you know what I mean? Like so, I just think long term, like the value. And again, this is all on the supposition that Vivi makes it long term, which I believe, right? So that's where I'm coming from. That's the foundation of this train of thought, right? But like, geez, that becomes insanely valuable to people who want that access, you know. So I'm a firm believer in it. Yeah, and like full disclosure, I own some. So
what about you, Rain?
I don't have one yet, and the trouble I have with getting one is it an investment if you can never sell it? It's not that there isn't a marketplace for it. You can totally sell it. But if you buy one, would you ever sell it? Probably not, right? So it really then becomes like permanent admission to some events as well as a social flex. So it's like what I've been struggling with is OMI's so cheap, so I pour more money into OMI and still haven't bought one. But it's not that I don't want one. I do, but that's the conundrum that I'm in.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to jump in there, man. This is my shout out to, I mean, whatever. I just think I look at people who have brought substantial value to this community that have gotten gold and silver logos gifted. And Rain, for me, I think that you're one of those people. I look at it. We looked at the dates, and it looks like you are the second YouTuber to ever cover Vivi or OMI. The second one ever, right? And I think that you missed it by like 2 days. Now there was someone else who also on the same day posted as you, but they posted after you, right? But out of those 3, you're the only OG YouTuber that is still talking about Vivi and OMI and is still bullish on that. You've had countless, like over the last 3.5 years. I don't even know how many videos that you've done where you've covered OMI and Vivi and answered questions for this community. But man, like I would just at some point love to see you get one. I think that would be phenomenal and well deserved when I look at some of the other people that have gotten it and the value, the reason they've gotten it for the value they brought to the community. I think that you are in that top tier. So
I appreciate that. Funny and story about that. When I did cover it, I had a revolt from half my Cardano-based audience that they went crazy mad about why I was wasting time covering this stupid VV thing and this stupid Batman thing. And I was like, because I think it's going to do significantly well. And that's what I cover on this channel. And they're like, I'm never effing watching you again. I was like, okay, bye. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just to interrupt, I got the Aliens vs Avengers. I got the ultra rare. Let's go.
Oh snap! That is a legit cover too.
Yeah. Dude, Venom, the symbiote. So Alien versus Alien over there looks heckin'. I can't wait to heckin' read this. I'm so excited.
Gentlemen, I do got to bounce.
Okay. Yeah, I've got about 10, 15 more minutes where I can chat. If you want to keep going, Randy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Later.
Appreciate you, Randy.
Yeah.
Bye, Rain.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
We'll see y'all.
Peace out.
Well,
you lucky punk. I'm looking. Hold on, because I gotta see, but I'm pretty sure I got like, common. I got a common. No, that's the Deadpool team. Oh yeah, no, the common on that one as well. So common gang for me. Your cover is pretty dope though. Yeah, I got the Iron Man and Captain America, and it looks like Banshee. Who is that? No, that's not Banshee. Anyways, on the cover. So versus the aliens.
I gotta look at the other covers and see what there are. Okay, they have Captain America, Iron Man, and Miss Marvel versus one.
Miss Marvel, that's who it is. I couldn't tell on like the small image that I was looking at.
Yeah, great times. Oh, there's a Scotty Young one. Oh, that's a secret rare. Oh, that's gonna be money. Ooh,
that's the secret rare on the Marvel 85 or on the Alien versus
the Alien versus Avengers.
Really?
I mean, I'm almost positive this is. I'll check real quick. Legendary Clower, John Hickman, but this was. Oh, the artist was Esad Ribic. All right, I guess. All right, it looked like Scotty Young for a second. It's not. It is.
Oh, that definitely does look very.
But it is Esad Ribic. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. But yeah. And if that's work, it is. All right, so let's get these are head movies, games of the previous week on this. All right, so there have been David's teased Cause a little bit, KAWS, and so we have a deal with Uniqlo, and you got a Cause, you got that. I thought you were just a fan of Reese's. I had no idea that was a Cause thing. Is that a? Can you like turn to the side? Oh, wait, is this a real box of cereal?
Yeah, bro. It's a real box of cereal.
When's this from?
2022 is when it was best if used by. So I bought that before then.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
That's funny that you just thought like I just had like a box of cereal up there because that's a fan of cereal.
Yeah, I mean you have a bunch of childlike stuff, not childish, childlike stuff that you're a fan of back there, and I was just like, oh, I just thought that was one of the things that you liked because I love that too. Can I just say I just love this bobblehead of me. I did an interview with the guy on a podcast, and to thank me for that, he sent me a bobblehead of myself. Oh, that's amazing.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
Coolio. You did not eat that cereal, right?
No. That's a full box. Guys, I got multiple boxes of this. Like, just in case, man. Just in case.
Oh, maybe I'm tripping. They said that the front cover is definitely Scotty Young's, or maybe that's just the front cover that's Scotty Young's, and the rest of the art is done by Esad. Yeah, that would make sense.
It would make more sense, right? Because I was like, wouldn't that be?
Oh
like
yeah,
or something, you know?
Signature. The signature right there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, that looks like a Scotty Young to me, man.
Yeah. All right. I know my Scotty Young. People making me doubt myself. Anyway, we have a deal with Uniqlo, which we have yet to use, but Uniqlo just posted a Cause and Warhol just tease. I thought that was pretty cool, and I just hoping to get that on get them on Vivi. We've been waiting for quite a long time.
Gosh, Phygital. If we could get a Phygital of Kaz, bro. Or just like because like didn't what are those bear ones? The bear bricks. Like bear bricks.
Oh
like
yeah.
Lab. And anyways, I don't know. That would be really cool if we could get like a Phygital of Kaz somehow.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny, man, when I got that. And like my daughter was like, "What the heck, Dad? You have your own bobblehead?" And I was like, "Yeah, trying to be all. I'm a big deal to her. Yeah, she thinks that I'm super cool because I have a YouTube channel and because I have a bobblehead. So keeping it real.
That's so cool. Be seen as like a hero in a kid's eyes. That's really fun. You're my hero the other day when you were when you and Cosmo were teasing people, posting that message of saying, this message is banned in your region because Telegram's banned. I was like, so I eventually
panic that he caused, man. And that's mostly Cosmo. He's the one who started it, and he hit me up. He's like, "You got to do this too. You got to get in on it."
OBL's got the cereal too. Yes! Janie and Max sent it. Oh yeah, because they probably don't have Reese's Puff over on your side of the pond, right? The cause would be insane. Leave his mates with Ron. Yeah, I think he is too. Oh, we got to get him. We definitely can. So I had posted and Dr. Profit posted that in like the gold logo chat, and everyone was freaking out in that gold logo chat. Like, what? I can't see your messages. So like, Dr. Profit, Dr. P. But I decided to like try to mess with people in my own way, saying like, hey guys, I can't, I can't see anything either. And look, they blocked the hub. They happen to block the hub in Ohio. So when you try to go to the hub, they send like a message saying like, as you know, your elected officials are requiring us to verify your age and that. So I decided to put something else in the search bar that people would see. So I just Googled like Shrek hentai. So people would see that in the background of it. I don't think anyone really called me out on it, but I just thought that would have been funny.
Bro. Oh boy. No, yeah, like so for those, yeah, like basically there was this, and this, the funny thing is I like Cosmo and I got trolled as well in like one of our VC groups where people started posting that, and I was like, yo, what the heck? What's going on?
Yeah.
So that we just brought that forward where it's just like it's not available in your region, and just the panic where people are like, I can't see it, and then we'd respond with that same image, right? Like it looked like we were just responding and they just couldn't see the response, and we just
it's like Darren.
And then Randy, you were like, I'm holding an emergency live stream. We got and we're like, whoa, okay, whoa. Actually,
just trying to get people to tune in.
That was so amazing. So
it was great. I believe OMI reach 1 cent by the end of this year. Am I already saying public betting losses? Like it does not look like OMI will reach 1 cent this year. So I'll probably lose those bets. But I would say, in my opinion, I would think in my mind that we'll get all-time highs at some point. Maybe next year, maybe early 2026. It depends on what happens. I don't know, but we shall see. Does that say bowl or bowel?
Bowel, man. Because Chuck and Hank was like, what happens if your kid eats the cereal someday? And I was like, well, they're probably going to have some pretty serious bowel problems.
Yeah. Fair point.
So,
have you used Stacker World yet? I know you have.
Look, I'm in the OMI the NFT beta, and I'm kind of in hot water because I just have not been active. And then I told Foster that I was going to be active, and then I haven't been active. But my plan is tonight, truly is tonight, like that I'm going to jump in and do some more transactions and get that testing done, right? And see what some of the glitches are and get more familiar with that. So Foster, if you're watching this, my sincere apologies. Please don't boot me out of the beta. I want to do that, and I will do that. So yeah. I have you, and I've used Stacker World even before like the OMI the NFT beta, and I like it. Like there's a lot of cool things. And in fact, VD Vet, I think he came in and he was like, "Hey, I used Stacker World for the first time," And one of the cool things that Stacker World does, if you guys haven't been on it before, is it shows you your ranking, just like even overall, but then also within certain like collectibles. So like maybe you're ranked number 88 when it comes to like collecting all things Marvel, right? And so like there is some gamification there where people are like, interesting. Like I want to, like I feel like I want to get up on that, right? Like I want to jump higher on that. So Stacker World is really easy to use, guys. There's definitely some suggestions, and it's been cool, right? People have made suggestions to Dr. Profit, and he's like, we're taking this all into consideration. We're building all these things out. So I am really excited for like what is being built with Stacker World. And I do think that there's going to be a lot of people that will go over to Stacker World to do a lot of transactions and see some things there. But it's going to take some getting used to, right? And I get the frustration where people is like, why can't that just all be on VV? And, you know, like freaking call in and complain to Gary Gensler. Like that's legit why. Like it's the SEC. Like that's why this all can't be on VV. So, yeah. Send him hate mail.
Speaking of VV, Matt Gondek presented his new project in July called Totally Recall, the greatest work of his career, he says, and we will be lucky enough to have it on VV, ? Maybe.
Wait. What? Did he really? He said that?
Well, so he said, let me find it again. He said that we will, oh God, wrong one. I just had it. I don't know where the heck it went. No, it was before this. It was after this. Well, he said it in a question mark. Like, will we be lucky? He says, the greatest work of my career. Will we be lucky enough to have it on VV? ?
When did he say that?
He said this recently. VV France posted about it. And then I used the translate button, so maybe something got out of that. But he said
he replied. Then it was in a reply.
No, he had said this somewhere in the last, I guess, like couple weeks, and VV France reported on it. And she said that this is what he said. Quote, Matt Gondek presented his new project in July, Total Recall. And it says, quote, the greatest work of my career. Will we be lucky enough to have it on VV?
Dude, I would love that. Like, so I'm not really like a big art guy, you know, like truly. And, but when Matt Gondek got on VV and he launched that Failure of Control, and I never heard of Matt Gondek before. And yeah, he did that Failure of Control, which is basically like, it looks like Mickey Mouse, like deconstructed, right? With like these like wavy colorful balloon kind of shooting out. Just the title of it and just looking at that, like it was a point in my life where like I just kind of felt like I wasn't in control of a lot of things. And it just like spoke to me. And then since then, like I've collected like all of Matt Gondek's stuff on VV. And my goal is to one day actually commission a piece from Matt Gondek, right? That I ask that he does for me. Now I'm sure that's going to cost a lot of money. So we'll see if I get there, but I love it. So I would love to see this on VV as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be a nice tease. I know you said you have to bounce. Anything you want to go over before we chat offline for a minute?
Look, again, shout out to the people who are still here and for all the support. I love this community. Really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and all notification bells on both of our channels. It just helps support us. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 mark so I can get monetized. And yeah, but in the meantime, look, I love it when you guys hit me up in the DMs with questions, and then we try to cover that on these streams, whether it's on OMI is my homie or when I do a solo stream, kind of answer those questions. That's what we're here for. Appreciate y'all. And again, all of you guys who also make content like Fro Comey, all of the other YouTubers out there, just really appreciate all the work that you guys do as well. And that content, like it keeps this community going. We love it and just keep at it. That's all I got. Appreciate you, fam.
Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Yeah.